Let's be honest. The cultural pressure to find that one single magical passion is, well, it's just exhausting, isn't it? It's like we're constantly being told to just follow your passion, as if it's some glowing treasure chest buried deep in our minds. And if we just dig hard enough on a random Tuesday afternoon, boom, we'll suddenly find it. But what if that whole approach is actually completely backwards? What if finding your purpose isn't about chasing some fleeting lightning bolt feeling of passion at all? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely dismantle that exhausting myth of passion. Instead, we're going to learn how to construct a grounded, living ecosystem of meaning using the Japanese concept of Ikigai. Now, I recently came across this framing, and honestly, it completely shifted my perspective. Because once you see the logic underneath it, finding direction stops being this mystical puzzle and starts becoming a reliable system, a system you can actually build. Okay, so let's jump right into this. Here's the blueprint we're going to use to build this system together. First up, beyond the passion myth. Second, the four core forces. Third, alignment in real life. Fourth, how Ikigai changes with you. And finally, finding your own direction.
Section 1. Beyond the passion myth. Unlearning vague advice.
Right, so it's really time to question that self-help slogan we've all heard a million times, the one, just follow your passion. So why doesn't that work? Well, because a real purpose actually needs contact with reality to survive. Ikigai is a stable fit between who you are, what you do, and what the world needs from you. It is absolutely not a slogan. It's not a temporary mood. It is a true fit. It's a recognizable pattern in real life where the different, sometimes competing forces in your life literally stop fighting each other and actually start cooperating. Now, a massive misunderstanding about Ikigai is confusing excitement with meaning. Excitement is just a short-lived signal. Think about, say, an amazing decadent dessert. That first bite is incredibly exciting, right? But you can't live off of cupcakes. The reason you keep coming back to a staple, wholesome meal isn't just that initial thrill. It's the deeper, sustaining nourishment that actually keeps you healthy and energized. You see, excitement disappears when the work gets hard. But meaning is what remains when the novelty completely fades away. There's this brilliant analogy that captures the necessity of reality perfectly. A kite is not free because it has no string. It is free because the string lets it rise without being lost. I absolutely love that. Purpose literally has to touch the ground. It has to survive the actual constraints of your life, your time, your energy, and your relationships. We so often view constraints as the enemies of passion, but psychologically speaking, constraints are what give our actions shape. If a beautiful idea can't survive contact with daily life, it's just a fantasy floating away. It's not an Ikigai-shaped purpose. Section 2. The four core forces: meaning, skill, contribution, and sustainability. This is the architectural core of our system, and it deals with four things: meaning, skill, contribution, and sustainability. Meaning answers the question, why does this matter to me? Skill answers, can I actually do this? Contribution asks, who benefits from this? And sustainability asks, can I keep doing this? Now, these aren't just separate boxes to check off on a to-do list. They are heavily interacting pieces of a much larger puzzle. If you pull on one, it directly affects all the others. To really understand why they all matter, look at what happens when these tensions lose their balance. Have you ever had deep meaning but lacked the skill? You just end up wildly frustrated. Or what if you have high skill but absolutely no meaning? You're highly capable, sure, but completely empty inside. If you're contributing heavily without sustainability, you're incredibly useful to everyone else, but totally exhausted and burning out. And if your life is highly sustainable but lacks meaning, well, you're perfectly stable but entirely uninspired. Split energy creates tiredness. Ikigai is the exact point where these specific tensions finally stop canceling each other out. I really want to emphasize sustainability here, especially in today's hustle culture. A bridge is useful only if it can carry weight repeatedly. If your purpose demands constant self-sacrifice without any renewal, it literally stops being a purpose and just becomes a strain. Passion without endurance is pretty much a guaranteed recipe for a breakdown. True Ikigai isn't about burning out brightly, it's about building a solid structure that can bear the weight of a long, healthy life. Section 3. Alignment in real life. The mechanics of purpose. So we've defined the pieces, right? Now we need to look at how they actually interact to reduce inner friction. Purpose is a pattern of movement created by connected parts. Much like a bicycle, you don't just hop on a bike and move forward through sheer willpower alone. The wheels, the chain, the pedals, the frame, they all have to support one another to actually create forward movement. Purpose isn't one emotional spark. It's an entire ecosystem of alignment. You don't just sit alone in a room and think your way into Ikigai. You live your way into it through action and a continuous feedback loop. You really have to pay attention to your daily data. Notice what drains your energy so you can set some boundaries. Notice what holds your attention effortlessly. Notice what the people around you actually need rather than what you just assume they need. And notice what you can genuinely improve with practice. Meaning actually grows when your actions meet the friction of reality. And when those pieces align, the result isn't just pleasure. It's this profound sense of relief. Think of the exhausting friction of a door that barely fits its frame. We've all fought a sticky door, right? Where every single time you open it, you have to throw your shoulder into it. But when the hinge is aligned properly, the movement is smooth, it's quiet, it's natural. That is exactly what Ikigai feels like. Life doesn't suddenly become totally effortless, but you finally stop wasting all your energy fighting yourself at every turn. Section 4. Ikigai changes with you, the evolution of purpose. I want to reassure you right now, Ikigai isn't some permanent, fixed identity that you lock into a single sentence at age 20 and have to keep forever. Look at this wonderful idea. A garden is not alive because it stays exactly the same. It is alive because it keeps adapting to seasons, care, and conditions while still remaining a garden. Think about who you were 10 years ago. Your responsibilities change, your skills grow, your circumstances evolve. The deeper pattern of your Ikigai remains recognizable, but its expression will naturally change, much like water carving a new path in a river. You haven't lost your purpose. It's just adapting to a new season of your life. Section 5. Finding your own direction, taking grounded action. Let's bring all of this back to your own reality so you can stop chasing these grand callings. People so often imagine they need some massive destiny-level mission to be valid, but purpose usually begins incredibly small, kind of like a seed. And that seed contains a pattern of growth that only becomes visible through repetition. Ikigai does not have to be loud, public, or famous. It starts simply with repeated contact in daily, quiet care. Let's ground this with a local example of purpose in ordinary work, say managing a small neighborhood bakery or a family business. Now, it might not seem glamorous, but look at the alignment here. You care deeply about keeping it a reliable staple for your neighbors. You use your hard-earned skills with customers and daily operations. Your contribution literally supports your family and feeds your community. And if it's run well, it's sustainable for your financial and physical health. A path does not need to go viral or change the entire globe to be deeply, fundamentally meaningful. So, the crucial point is this single takeaway. Ikigai builds a life by turning private meaning into lived, useful, sustainable action. It's not a fantasy vision board on your bedroom wall. It is a living, breathing system where what you actually care about meets the reality of the world head-on. Which leaves us with one final, incredibly important question for you to take away today. Where does your life already have the pieces of Ikigai waiting to be connected? Seriously, stop wandering in the dark, waiting for a magical revelation to strike you like lightning. Look at your life right now. Pay attention to the feedback of your daily actions and start recognizing the shape of the direction that is already sitting right in front of you.